Hi everyone. Let's wait one more minute for the people to have the time to connect. And then we're going to get started with this next HPE update session about AI-driven operations with HPE Infosight. Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. This afternoon, I'm going to talk about HPE Infosight and all the things that we need to know around it. I get a lot of questions in more and more presentations about HPE. They're talking about Infosight, and I get more and more questions about, yeah, but what's the value? How can we show it to the customers? How can we sell it to the customers? Can you sell it actually to your customer? I think so, yes. Even if it's a free product, you can sell it to your customers. You gotta show it. But of course, before that, I want to give you this introduction, but it goes quite far as an introduction. And I try to keep it as interactive as possible. So there is a possibility for Q&A, definitely. But I ask you to do this, yeah, during at the end of this session. So we planned enough time at the end of this presentation to have some real Q&A. And if you have questions about, hey, can you show it to me in real life? If you want, I can give you a live demo because I have access to it, and I have plenty of gear discovered by Infosight as well. But before we're going to do that, let's give an overview of what is Infosight and why we actually need it. Really quickly, a hi from the HPE team, which I'm part of, helping you, being there for you, creating configurations, giving advice, finding the best prices for your solution. So we're still available even in these strange times where everyone is working at home. So at this moment, we're not at the office internat, but we're working from home. But all my colleagues and myself, we are available through that email address and that phone number if you have any questions whatsoever, of course, right? Now, Infosight. I see often, yeah, it's a monitoring tool or it's a management tool. And it does something with AI, artificial intelligence, and so on. But often I get the question of, yeah, how does it fit into the HPE management solutions that are already there? Because we have plenty of solutions since already as long as I know about the Compact and then an HP and an HP ProLiant server. For instance, we have a thing called ILO. Yeah, that's excuse me, this is not an on-premises solution, it's an on-system solution, right? So we have ILO inside my server, from the smallest micro server ProLiant Gen 10 Plus up to the highest end 4-core socket server. We have ILO everywhere on the system, on every server. Now, if we take a look at storage, also there, depending of the storage product, we have an on-systems management utility. If I'm thinking about MSA, we have a thing called a SMU. That's the storage management utility. If I'm thinking about Nimble, there is also a Nimble user interface, if I'm going to call it like that, because it's just the Nimble graphical user interface. We have SSMC for Tripar, for Primera. We have a management tool for Store Once user interface. So we have so many on-system management tools to manage my environment. Now on premises, HPE tries to converge everything together, and also there we have tools like, in the past it was called SIM, Systems Insight Manager, which is now replaced by OneView, which is there for most of these servers. And most of the storage platforms, back again, connecting to the ILO and the SSMC and the service processor of Tripar, because by the way, for Tripar, there is also a thing called a service processor. And then also in the cloud, there were some things. We have, of course, HPE Support Center. So that's the public support website from HPE. But on there, there is a logon button where you can validate yourself, and then you are redirected to Insight Online. Yeah, and that's an online portal which exists already too many years, and in some kind of way they try to integrate some information from there and some information from there to have some kind of an on-cloud experience as well. Now, okay, it works fine, but we're missing something, because if we take a look in the market, it's becoming even more and more complex. Yeah, because in the past we had a server and we had storage with an application on top of it with a network cable, and that's it. But today, when we take a look at the market, I see a lot of on-premises, but also off-premises in some kind of a public cloud. And today there's not even one public cloud, there are hundreds of public clouds. So I have my mailbox in Office 365 and I have a development VM in Azure and have some other application running on the Force platform, and maybe have something else in Google, and so many clouds. And we have to protect that data, we have to manage that data. Where is my data, by the way? Yeah, so don't forget the data protection. There are service level agreements with my users, which are complaining that it's fast, or no, they're not complaining when it's fast, but they never say that it's fast because they're always complaining that it's slow or not stable, and all these kind of things. Yeah, and we have to think about a solution. Let it be the end customer with an IT team, or it's you, the HPE partner, that is helping them with all these IT challenges, and that never-ending firefighting, because it's always looking for solutions. So why did this happen, right? Besides that, I see this every day now, of course, in COVID period as well. The pressure to lower the cost and the pressure to work on distance, to be more efficient, to do more with less, right? On top of that, what we see is this, okay? I don't want to be that operator behind the screen, or maybe a doctor in a hospital with his tablet, with his smart device, saying that, hey, Mr. Ill person, yeah, let me help you. And damn, you see that circle. And by the way, this is an animated slide, but I can stay here for hours. It will not go away. Yeah, this is what HPE calls the app data gap. Yeah, so there is a gap between the application and the data. Now, typically, a lot of people will say, yeah, it's the network that is in between. Yeah, it's often the network. It's not always the network, because like I said, we have a server with an operating system, with a hypervisor, with a virtual machine. And now these days, these applications are running on containers. So we have virtual machines and we have containers, which are all interconnected, running on multiple servers, stored on centralized data with a storage network and a client user access network. And one of those components in a solution is causing that this app data gap. And this is why HPE says, well, we need intelligence. And then HPE marketing, they found this really fantastic slide. And you and I, we have to go to our end customers to say, yeah, intelligence changes everything. Now, I told marketing as well, yeah, guys, this is a fantastic slide, and I can talk for hours about this slide. But at the end, for the customer, you need to make it practical. Yeah. What can I do with it? How does it look like? Give me practical examples. Well, for that, I prefer to use this slide because it's all about the data. Because the more data we have, the more insights that we have, the more intelligent decisions that we can make. This is also something that I tell to my kids. You got to go to school as long as possible because the more you learn, the more intelligent you will be, and the better decisions that you can make. We'll see, but they're still in school. And so I give a practical example because in Belgium, yeah, everyone likes cars. Take a look outside. The traffic jams are getting started again being there. Belgians, we love to be in traffic jams apparently because every day we are in there as long as we're not working from home, of course. And then I give this practical example. Well, I have a customer meeting today. I have to go to, I don't know, the other side of Belgium. And so there is a fantastic solution. And guys, this is not photoshopped. It still exists. You can buy it online in the Better Bookstore for 19.99. The Guide Michelin 2020 from Belgium, from France, from Europe, from everywhere because I need to go from point A to point B. And then, okay, there's a map and I have to look the best way from point A to point B. Then, of course, many years ago, we are in a digital world at the end with with the phones and then the mobile phones and the smartphones and mobile computers. There are plenty. I don't want to make a publicity for this specific company. There are plenty of GPS devices manufacturers who are digitalizing all this information into an electronic device because everyone loves electronic devices, of course. Yeah, but this device is like a mobile phone. But today we have smartphones, and now we are putting this in our smartphone. And what's the difference? Well, this smartphone here is connected with many other devices because we are connected everywhere, right? And we're going to learn from the people in front of us and at the left and at the right. And we know that there's a traffic jam and there are a lot of connectivity points over there. So maybe it's best to go to the left to avoid traffic jams, right? So there are many software vendors who are using that data. I'm thinking about Waze, I'm thinking about Google Maps, and some others who are giving you at the end a better experience because this is actually what's happening. I think that's quite easy to tell the customer, yeah, we have been or we are still today in the flash era. Okay, but I think it's 6 7 years ago that I said in my first webinars and seminars and presentations that I was giving at that moment in time about we're going to an all flash world. And then the answer was, yeah, Bart, it's way too expensive. I said, yeah, but at that moment in time, Tripar is going towards an all flash solution. Well, today, we're still selling a little bit of spinning media in a storage device, but most of them is all flash because it's also easy today to sell flash SSD storage. Yeah. Um, Even laptops. Yeah, a person has a laptop with spinning media with a SATA drive, just give him for 1 week a laptop with SSD in there and then return his other modern laptop with a SATA drive in there. No way. He is convinced about the flash era. Well, now we see this as well. If we take a look at the storage world with MSA, Nimble, Tripar, Primera, SIMPLIVITY, everything is all flash, right? If I take a look at the software-defined storage solutions on the market, also there, more and more um, flash electronical storage. I just told you about the cloud era. I think that today we are convinced it's not going away. All those public and also private clouds. Okay, so today when a customer talks to me about the cloud, yeah, which cloud are you talking about? Because there are too many clouds today. Yeah, private clouds, on-premises clouds, and public clouds. It's all about the experience again. While the Flash era was more about speed and efficiency, well, the cloud era is all about as a service, about agility. I just want to pay for it when I'm using it. When I shut it down, I don't want to pay for it anymore, right? Well, now you got to tell your customer. I assume that you're talking already about Flash and you're talking about cloud. Well, today it is the time to talk about the intelligence era. So not only about Waze and Google Maps and all these kind of cool things on the internet, no, also in the IT infrastructure, we need to get started that conversation about the intelligent era. And it's all about AI-driven experience. Okay? We're going to talk about that. Yeah. But then your customer will say, yeah, but why do we need this? Because now with Waze and Google Maps and a smart GPS, I understand that I get a better experience. But which experience do I get by enabling AI-driven operations on my IT infrastructure? Well, if you ask that question, you are at the right place in this seminar because I'm going to talk about this, the why and the how. Okay? Well, the first things first, like I just told you, in an IT environment today, we still have storage. We have plenty of them. We have still a lot of servers, ML, DL, Apollo, Synergy, plenty of servers from really small to really big. And in between, we have that network. And we have iSCSI and SMB and NFS and fiber channel and so many networks and short cables and long cables with copper cables and fiber cables, plenty of protocols and switches to connect those guys together. But on top of that, we have that hypervisor. And we have Linux and VMware and Microsoft and Kubernetes and Docker, because here we are running VMs, but we're also running containers. And most of the time we have tens or hundreds of VMs, but we're talking about thousands of containers that needs to be managed and protected and so on and so on. And then that user here, that happy user, because that's why we're working for, he's calling you. Hey guys, I have that app data gap. I have that circle that is rotating and I don't have access to my data. And then comes the question, yeah, but hold on, where is your data? Because like I told you, we are a lot working on general purpose and maybe we can have hyper-converged experience here. Maybe you have mission critical stuff. Maybe we're doing big data or secondary storage, maybe even DevOps, which is most of the time on premises. But there is that connectivity, like I told you, yeah, but my mailbox is at Office 365 and I have a development VM in Azure, and maybe I have some other intelligent application running in Google Cloud, or maybe I have something at Amazon, because we have so many public clouds as well. Yeah, and we keep on generating that data because now today with all those smart devices and we're not talking about smartphones anymore. Everything today is a smart device. So even those windmills, yeah, and every smartphone, and I'm thinking about, yeah, oil industry and manufacturing, and all those machines and devices get connected. Why do you think we're going to 5G? Do you really think that it's just for more bandwidth so that we can download that movie even faster? Do you really think so? No, it's because we need more connections. We have more devices that needs to be able to connect to that backend. Okay? Um, and that's why we need to go on further to think about that intelligent data strategy. And that's the whole idea of what HP is doing now, is because if you take a look at the products that HP is putting on the market today, well, Primera, it's always about always on. and always fast as well. And by the way, nimble is also always fast. And we need automation software, all the software partnerships with Kubernetes and the CSI drivers and so on. It's all about automation. It's about on demand. I need it now. Hybrid by design. All HPE solutions are hybrid. So you can run it on premises and you have always a connector to the public cloud so that the customer doesn't need to choose between the one or the other. But that's obvious. But that fifth pillar here is very important for that one, for that one, for that one, and for that one. And this is what I'm going to show you why, just behind these really cool slides with all those funny colors. No, there is a reason behind these slides about the intelligence. Okay, now let's get started about the intelligence from a solution at HPE. So the answer is Infosight, and Infosight was an innovation from the HPE Nimble acquisition. So more than 3 years ago, it was somewhere, yeah, a little bit more than 3 years ago, HPE acquired Nimble, storage solution, a really cool storage company, and they said, we get too many phone calls at support saying that it's a storage problem, where we find that the issue is not at storage, but they arise above the storage layer. And they found out that more than 90% of the problems, they arise beyond, outside the storage layer, at the network, at the server, at the hypervisor, or at the app, the VM, or the container, or even the applications on top of it, somewhere else. Yeah. And it's becoming, because we have not even hundreds, we have thousands of variables. And if you take a look at this, so Nimble started, the first deliveries of Nimble Array started in 2010. And in 1 year, they had already 10, in the tens of millions of data points collected from that storage array to see what's going on. And then a few years later, they became more intelligent with all these data points collected within the storage array. And so they added predictive support automation. And predictive support is actually what Waze and Google Maps is doing. We are predicting that there's too many traffic over there, so I'm going to send you to another way. And then it keeps on going, where we're going to trillions of data points. Then they added VM analytics. Today, the name is called cross-stack or full-stack analytics. This is something that you're going to see later on in this presentation. But they added the cross-stack analytics so that they can see really on the server and the network and the server and the hypervisor and the VMs on top of it, so that you can see the complete stack of who is causing that issue. And they kept on going, becoming more and more intelligent. And somewhere in 2018, at the end of 2018, they added the recommendation engine, because the recommendation engine is back again, like Waze and Google Maps and the others are doing. Yeah, we're going to predict that there's something happening over there, that you're going to have a problem. No. There is a problem. So predictively, so proactively, I'm gonna send you to somewhere else. So this is somewhere added in 2018 for all Nimble customers. And at that moment in time, somewhere here, they added, we're gonna talk about that, they added Tripar as well. And in 2019, they kept on adding, because here they added Primera. And now we are here somewhere in 2020. You will see, I have other slides about that. But HPE, they added also servers, and they added also HCI, Hyperconverged SIMPLIVITY, into Infosight, because initially Infosight was Nimble storage only, but now there is an evolution and it's not stopping. It keeps on getting better and smarter and more intelligent, and we keep on plugging more devices in there. But because the more devices we have to send that telemetry performance data, stability data into that platform with the artificial intelligence and with the machine learning algorithms in there, it becomes more and more intelligent. And so we can give you that better experience. Yeah, so that's the whole idea. We're going to put AI driven operations. We're going to optimize your operations just like Google Maps and Waze and plenty of other applications are doing to optimize your whatever you are doing. So for IT, what does that mean? We're going to try to get out that guesswork. I think that it's the network. Let's take a look at the network. I think that it's the server. So let's reboot it and then let's take a look back again and so on. No, 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 no. Proactively, because these are practical examples of what Infosight is doing. For instance, one of the recommendations from Infosight available today is Infosight will tell you, well, hey, you just created on your storage, you have 2 volumes. Because I don't know why, but a lot of companies, they make 2 volumes. And then they start to fill it up with a lot of data in there, the easy stuff, and then the difficult stuff with all those migrations. And then you see that the balancing between those 2 volumes is not ideal, because I know a lot of people that say, hey, we're going to balance, I have 10 terabyte, 5 there and 5 there, or 4 times 2.5, because that's the perfect balancing, right? That's the same thing like on the highway. On the highway, I have 3 lanes and I have, to make my life easy, 30 cars. I'm going to put 10 cars here, 10 cars there, and 10 cars there. That's equally balanced. Yeah, but what you didn't tell me is that these are all sport cars. These are little vans, and these are really big trucks. Yeah, I'm sorry, that's not perfectly balanced. Yeah, you got to do it differently. How? I have no idea. I'm not an expert in traffic congestion, but what Infosight will tell you is that maybe on those volumes, you have 10 VMs and 10 VMs on your servers. Also there, it's not ideal, because maybe we have here 10 small VMs, and here I have my 10 big database servers running on the second host, but I have 10 and 10. Well, Infosight will tell you maybe you got to apply quality of service on that volume 1 to improve the performance of VM2. Or maybe you got to move VM3 to another host because host 1 is oversubscribed. And now you can tell me, yeah, but for VMware DRS does this as well. Yeah, but for DRS you got to pay. And for Infosight, I'm going to tell you later, but for Infosight you don't have to pay. Yeah, and it's not the server that will give this recommendation. We can see it not only on storage, on the network, on the server, up to the application, because we have cross-stack analytics. And also a nice one is, because we have a view on the storage, well, Mr. Customer, if you keep on adding data on that storage array, well, by the end of July 15th, this is really short from now, but in 3 months or in 6 months, well, you got to add a shelf, or you got to add capacity, something like that. Or maybe on your network, you need more bandwidth. This is what Infosight is going to give you. Answers to these questions, okay? Because this is the information that comes out. Until now, we have monitoring utilities, and most of the time we're looking at the peaks. Yeah, this is too high, this is maybe too low, or this is too average. And so these monitoring tools, we have to configure them as well. We got to set alerts, what is high, what is low, what is something in between. About latency on the network, about bandwidth congestion, and so on and so on. Well, Infosight, I can tell you already, by the way, Infosight, you cannot configure anything. So also those alerts, yeah, those thresholds of high and low, forget it. Because maybe here, it's not the highest, and this is even rather low, but even then, Infosight will tell you, guys, this is not normal. It can be maybe at the moment of that day. Yeah, maybe on Monday morning, there's a lot of workload, but not on a Sunday evening. So even when he sees that there is quite some IOPS generating latency on your storage network on a Sunday evening, yeah, but maybe that's not normal. Maybe that could be, never say never, could be ransomware encrypting all your data. Well, at that moment, Infosight will warn you. It will not say that it's ransomware, because we don't have visibility up to the user data, but we see unusual workloads, which is not normal. And then Infosight will tell you this is normal and this is not normal. So it's not just looking at too high or too low, because at that moment you will get that alarm fatigue. Yeah, yet another alarm. Yeah, okay, it will go away. Reboot the server and it will go away. Yeah, sometimes yes, but not always. Yeah, and that's why Infosight needs this, what we call, I just told you, full stack analytics. We go up to the VM, we can see that it's VMware, and by the way, I have another slide about that, but I know that a lot of people of you were waiting for that. Yeah, Hyper-V, finally, I can add it together with VMware. And we have an insight into an Oracle workload and an SQL Server workload. Like I said, no, we don't see the user data, but we see the Oracle and the SQL Server workload, that we can tell you that you're doing a good thing or a bad thing, or that there is a noisy neighbor that is impacting the performance and you got to move that workload maybe to another server, right? So there you go. If you're a more technical person with a hypervisor experience, well, probably you will understand the noisy neighbor issue. It happens all the time, right? Um, one VM that is hogging the resources, abusing the resources of that host, impacting the performance of other VMs, right? And like I said, I see too many, too often. Hey, I have 20 VMs, I have two servers, 10 and 10. Yeah, if you're lucky, it can work like that. But in the worst case, it won't work like that. And then you're going to enable DRS, and then you're going to start seeing ping-ponging all those VMs from one host to the other and so on. No, we with Infosight, we're going to tell you who is the noisy neighbor, because we're doing analytics on the host consumption, on the memory, the CPU consumption, the network consumption. We are checking the latency, if the latency caused by the server, by the network, or by the storage. And always nice, cool to have top 10 performing VMs. How does it look like? Well, you will see on the next slide. But one of the cool things that I like is about latency. Yeah, it's slow. We have that app data gap. Remember that circle that is going around like that? But who is causing it? Well, this is a picture from, yeah, VM Vision is the old name from the cross-stack analytics. So we have a vision up to the VM level. So, but what we can see here is that in total, we have somewhere, there was a spike. Yeah. From this picture, I cannot see who was causing it, because then I need to click on it, then I will drill down into the details. But what I can see here is that there was 0.31 milliseconds on the storage, 0.18 milliseconds by the host, and 0.93 milliseconds by the network. And so you can check at every point, because you can drill down up to the minute, you can drill down and you can see who is causing that latency. Sometimes it can be the host, it can be a noisy neighbor, it can be oversubscription of memory or CPU, it can be the network, never say never, or maybe it can be the storage array as well, because the cache is too small or it's flooded or whatever, something like that. Yeah. And so at that moment, when you drill down on this information, yeah, then you can go to these kind of pictures. So this is a map that you can see. This is one of the really cool maps inside Infosight that will give you a view on the data store. But now typically a data store, you can see, hey, a data store of 1 terabyte, there is 800 gig in use, and then you can see something about latency. Okay, but look, these are all VMs, by the way, guys. So all these little rectangulars, big and small rectangulars, these are all VMs. And now it's up to you to find that noisy neighbor who is using the data store, who is abusing my data store. Well, it's quite easy. Two things. You got to take a look at the size of the rectangular. Yeah. So the size is the amount of IOs. So in this case, this VDI 993 VM and the 503 VDI VM, they're using quite some IOs, but as such, they're not really causing the latency, because the latency is adding delay. And here I have that VDI 21 VM, which is darker. So you got to look as well here to the dark colors. okay? Because the dark is the higher latency that is generating, that is causing. And then you will get a recommendation. Maybe you got to move some of those VDI VMs to another data store, right? And by the way, when you click back on it, you get more information about that VM, and so on and so on. You get this picture for latency, but also for CPU and memory contention. Yeah. So also, who is using and abusing the CPU and memory of your hypervisor, your VMware host? Yeah. If you want to know this, most of the time it's through CLI. Maybe you know there's that command called ESX top. Yeah, a CLI command on a hypervisor to see who is with the CPU time that needs to be high or low. No, just take a look at this picture and look for the dark colors. Okay, because those are using or maybe abusing your system, right? And so there are some practical examples about this was a hospital that was using VDI, and they found ROG VDI instances. They were consuming resources, but not it was useless. Yeah, and they were doing really too much IOs because of a bad configuration in the VDI environment. And so Infosight detected this, that there was really an overlap of too many VMs consuming too many resources. And so by using that IO contention tree map, we could find those VMs and find the applications and the users in there who were doing a bad thing. And so thanks to that recommendation, that hospital reduced the CPU utilization by 50%. They wanted to buy new servers. Now, unfortunately, they didn't buy new servers at HP because Infosight told you don't need those servers. You just need to reallocate all your resources in a more efficient way. Yeah. Um, these kind of answers you will get. Typical answers. How is my data usage trending? When I'm gonna run out of capacity? Do I need to upgrade? Really cool. Hey, I have now 100 users, but I want to add 50 users. Is my infrastructure today able to run, to support 50 additional users? Yes, you can calculate this with Infosight, because in Infosight there are online calculators to say, guys, this is my workload. What if I add 20%? What if I add 20% every year from now? When will I arrive at the threshold where I will need to add servers, storage, or networking? Yeah, so it will predict your upgrade needs as well. Okay, if you have an existing customer with a Nimble today, and after 3, 4, 5 years, he wants a new Nimble, believe me, it's the easiest selling process that you're gonna do, because that old Nimble will tell you this is what you need to buy. This is what you were using for the last 5 years. Okay, I see that there's a growth of 9%. Okay, if I take this into account for the upcoming 5 years, this is what you need to order. We don't need to do any sizings anymore. Why? Because with Nimble, we have already a lot of information. Now, of course, we added Tripar, we add Primera, we add Proliant, we add SIMPLIVITY. So we want this experience, of course, everywhere. We just need to collect that data. How do we collect that data? Well, this is what you see. It's like the iceberg. Yeah, you only see the top of the iceberg. It's just a little bit. You get a few really cool dashboards, and there are some really advanced visualizations, the cross-stack analytics, right? So cross-stack analytics, which is in there, but under the hood, there is so much happening. Okay, so this is really the machine learning. We're going to learn not from your environment. We're going to learn from all those thousands of storage devices and millions of servers out there to become more intelligent, because the success of Waze and Google Maps is only because there are a lot of other Waze and Google Maps users in front of you and behind you that makes it a success. Of course, the more connected devices that you have, the better experience that you have. This is why HP is adding it to not only it all started here 2010, 2018, they added Tripar. 6 months after the acquisition of Nimble, they added Infosight already to Tripar. Now it's on Primera. It's on all ProLiant and Apollo servers available, synergy as well, as long as they have ILO 4 or ILO 5. So there is synergy. And I told you about SIMPLIVITY, and now with Nimble, there's also a hyperconverged solution called DHEI. Well, also there is Infosight. And like I said, it doesn't stop. It will keep on going. They will keep on adding devices. Now, this I'm going to explain later. Let's take a look at practically how does it look like. Let's get started with servers, because I think everyone has servers, knows servers. Well, why do we need Infosight on servers? So this was added the beginning of this year, the 6th of January, they added Infosight for servers. Now, what is Infosight doing? Infosight is observing. It's checking performance, telemetry data. Already a long time from the storage arrays, but now we needed something as well to collect the data from our servers, to get more insights from my servers. And from that information, I'm going to learn, because of course, if we have data, we got to learn from it. And from what we learn, we're going to predict, yeah, this is good, this is not so good. You're following best practices, you're not following best practices. So if you're not following best practices, I'm going to give you recommendations. Yeah, I'm going to give you a yellow alert or an orange alert or a red alert to say you're doing a good thing or you're doing a bad thing. And then, of course, if you get that recommendations today, you got to act. You get an alert, you got to do something. Apply quality of service, add CPU, memory, storage, bandwidth, whatever, something, do an upgrade because you're running on too old firmware. And then once that you acted, we keep on observing to see if you did a very good thing or did you do a bad thing. And so back again, this is a circle that is not stopping, it's permanently there. Now, for servers, we needed something here. We got to learn from that data, but where is that data? Well, that was cool because I told you that in every ProLiant and Apollo and Synergy server already, ILO exists already for more than 20 years from now. ILO is there. And today we're running ILO 5, the 5th generation already. But what a lot of people didn't know, already since ILO 4, there's a thing called AHS, Active Health System. So it's like the black box in a plane, yeah, which is, by the way, not black but orange. But anyway, it's called a black box. Well, in ILO 4 and ILO 5, we have that black box. It's recording all the data of what's happening on your server. Yeah, so it's collecting the data, and then you can download. If you connect to ILO, in the left menu, there is Active Health System, and then there's a button called Download. And then you can download the AHS file from that server. If you're a support engineer, if you're a technical guy and you have a problem with the server, at that moment, probably when you call HPE support, they will tell you, or they're gonna ask you those 50 stupid, useless questions. Not all of them are useless, but some of them. So, or you're just gonna say, hey, here's the AHS file. Everything is in there, what you need to know. Okay, so they're gonna use that AHS file to run a diagnosis from your server, and then they're gonna give you advice, and then so back again, we have AHS. And this is what we need from the ILO. And so this is something that was released the beginning of this year. Because how does it work? By the way, which data is collected? I told you. So it's that the flight data recorder AHS Active Health System. By the way, I didn't mention it yet. And before the question arrives, yes, you're gonna get a copy of this presentation. So yes, we're gonna send you out after this webinar. Yes, you will get a link to the recording, and you will get a link to download this presentation as well. So I was saying Active Health System, every day we're gonna send that file. Okay, even a little bit more, yeah, because every 10 minutes there's heartbeat data. just with the basic information, everything is okay, or we have a degraded state, or we have a critical state. So that's every 10 minutes. But every day we're going to send that AHS file. It's not that big. Yeah, it's just 1-2 megabyte big. We're going to send it over to the Infosight portal, and then they're going to run all those algorithms, all those analytics on there to tell you you're doing a good thing or you're doing a bad thing, right? Now, important, it uses no host resources. It's inside ILO. There is 0.000 performance impact at all. We don't need to install agents because we know there are third-party monitoring tools who try to be intelligent. They're a little bit intelligent, but you need to install agents and you have to configure them and you have to update them and all these kind of things. Here, when you buy the server, it's in the hardware. Okay, so that's a really important thing. It's always there. Active Health System, even if you don't use Infosight, Active Health System is there. You cannot disable it. It's just there collecting all the data. Well, guys, use the data. Now, the question, of course, with AHS is we need to get that information from all my servers into Infosight. Well, how do we do that? Because of course we don't want that all those millions of servers out there. ProLiant server is already 20 years the most sold server in the world. There are millions of them. Of course, we don't want that all these ILOs, all those millions of ILOs are sending data to Infosight. No, we need some kind of a collector, an aggregator, okay? A proxy. Well, this is something called ILO amplifier pack. Okay, so it's a little software utility. It's a little VM, by the way. You can run it on KVM, on Hyper-V, on VMware. It's a little VM that is running there. By the way, very important, is for free, so it doesn't cost a thing. How to install it? If you go to my blog, I have articles with all the screenshots. It's really not hard to install it. By the way, when you get this presentation, the link to the getting started guide for Infosight for servers, or just Google it. Everything is explained in there. You got to deploy that ILO amplifier pack. It takes 10 minutes. Yeah, downloading it takes the most of the time. You deploy the OVA file, and then you got to give it an IP address. And from that moment on, you're going to collect the ILO to the amplifier pack, and then the amplifier pack will send all the information to Infosight. And from that moment on, you get this fantastic experience. Okay, and like I said, how to get started, or come back to me, or at the end of the session, like I said on my blog bitcoin.be, I have presentations about it. I can give you a demo about it, because in the past we organized already so-called Infosight for Experts sessions where I give the demo of how to install it. In the document, in that link that I just showed you, there's also an FAQ, frequently asked question. So which servers are supported? Well, like I told you, we need devices with ILO 4 and ILO 5 because it's from ILO 4 on. So that is, yeah, some Gen 8, but Gen 9 and Gen 10. Active Health System, enough information to do all this. Licensing cost, 0. Okay, so it doesn't cost you a thing, Mr. Customer. Yeah, so this is something that I say you can sell Infosight. Yeah, you just have to go to your customer, say, yeah, I need to deploy amplifier pack, and from this moment on, you get this fantastic experience, right? How do I access it? Well, it's really easy, infosight.hpe.com. And like I said, so what do I need? I need a server with ILO 4. I need ILO 5. I need ILO amplifier pack 1.30. There is meanwhile already a newer version, of course. And then the operating system. There's an agentless management service, which is, by the way, by default installed. But it needs to have an initial minimum version as well. Okay, and that's it. These are the steps that you need to do. It takes 15 minutes in total, and it's all well explained on my blog or in that getting started guide. Latest version is 1.50, so this is how it looks like. So you get a server grouping, and so you get all the alerts in the amplifier pack. But so this information is also sent by the amplifier pack to Infosight. Okay. Well, what's available today? Because it's there only from the beginning of January. Well, today we are learning. Okay, so you have that a server wellness dashboard from all your servers. You get a nice dashboard, and at the end of the presentation, I will give you a live demo for those who are interested. I will show you my servers and the health of those servers in there. So you get that inventory. Also nice is that warranty report. Of too often we get emails or calls from you guys to say, yeah, I need a care pack and I don't know what to sell, which care pack, is there still warranty on it? Yes or no? I sold many years ago those servers, what's in there? Guys, all the information is here. Yeah. Also, another challenge that I see often is I need to add memory in a server. Yeah, but hold on, guys. We have UDIMs, we have RDIMs, and we have LR, load reduced DIMs. And this is something when you cannot mix RDIMs and LRDIMs. This is Intel and AMD that says this. This is not HPE. And so we need to know what is currently in your server that you sold 3 years ago. Hey, yeah, I bought it at Tech Data 3 years ago, guys. Yeah, but we ship millions of servers every year. It's really not easy to find this information from 3 years ago, unfortunately, right? So with Infosight, I can see what is running live today now up to the last 10 minutes, because it's every 10 minutes that there is that heartbeat data, but I can see what's running there. And with that information that we are collecting, we're going to give you already a quite basic predictive analytics. Yeah, we're not going to give you recommendations yet. Why not yet? Because of course we need to learn more. So with servers, we are in the predictive phase. You will see with other products that we are already in the recommendation phase. Okay, but you will get notification alerts, you will get analytics, and there will some for parts failure, because we see how long that it's running, and based on the firmware that you're running, we can see with that many service hours, well, at that moment in time, maybe within 1 year, that SSD will be bad and needs to be replaced, right? And a very important one for me, like I said, you will get improved support, because they will not ask you anymore those 50 fantastic useless questions about the serial number and the firmware and the part this and where is it installed and all these kind of questions. You don't need it, because the data, that AHS file, is an Infosight, and at that moment the HPE support team has access to those AHS files. So they don't need to ask those 50 questions anymore. The only thing that you need, of course, is have that AHS file being sent automatically by that amplifier pack to Infosight. It's a 15-minute job, and that's it. And you get a much better user experience. By the way, case creation, this is changing, because it is still today a manual case creation, but you can create a case from Infosight. So you don't have to go to the support portal and then log in and do this and that, create case, and then copy paste all the serial numbers and all the information. No, directly from within Infosight, there is that button, create support case. And all the information is filled in, and the latest AHS file is sent to HPE support. You see that little asterisk? Yes, it's a matter of time. I don't know it will be in 1 month or 2 months or the end of the year, but it's coming, automatic case creation, because you will see in a minute when we're going to talk about storage. Well, with storage, we have much more information already collected, and we have much more intelligence. We have more knowledge about your environment, and that's why if you have an HPE storage solution, well, you will see that there is already automatic case creation. Okay, for servers, we just got started. Yeah, we're still walking. We're not running a marathon yet. Yeah, but my advice to you guys, if your customers have Gen 8, Gen 9, Gen 10 servers with ILO 4, ILO 5, yeah, and you don't have them connected yet with Infosight, first things first, do this. And then you come back and then you will see all the next steps that will be coming in Infosight, okay? Because by the way, this is just one screenshot to get an idea, but I'm going to give you more information later of how to access it and how does it look like, and even a live demo if we still have time. Normally, yes. And if you want to have that demo. And otherwise, by the way, I keep on being available, so my email address and so on is at the beginning and also at the end of my presentation. So you can always contact me for demos for you and your colleagues, or even for end customers, because I also give these demos for end customers to convince them to buy an HPE solution powered by Infosight, of course. And so you get that health dashboard, and I hope for you that it will remain green, of course, when you click on this red little zone. At that moment, you are automatically redirected to the issues happening on those servers. Apparently here there is one server with a power error, but it's just an alert. So probably this is not a bad power supply, but probably a disconnected power supply. The power supply is there, but it's disconnected. Here you can see as well the heartbeats, the information coming in, and this is an important one. So the health issues. So I can see here that I have some fan issues, power supply issues, to storage issues as well. And then here behind we have that dashboard as well. When you click on it, you get these kind of pop-ups with the serial numbers and so on and so on. And now this is new. Now here there is that button called case creation. So from within here, if you see that server with a technical problem, well, at that moment you can create a case directly from within Infosight. Okay, good. Um, the next step, the next thing is SIMPLIVITY. Because now for SIMPLIVITY, what is SIMPLIVITY? Well, technically it's a server, but hyper-converged with storage integrated and also a hypervisor. Okay. Um, hey, that's cool because we have something called cross-stack analytics. And maybe you're going to ask me that question, hey, Bart, what about Infosight for servers? Do we have cross-stack analytics? Well, today we don't have cross-stack analytics through Infosight for servers. Why? Because we're not sure that there is a hypervisor running on top of that server. Okay? But we can have cross-stack analytics through other methods, through storage and through SIMPLIVITY, because with SIMPLIVITY, we are sure that there's a hypervisor on there. And so also at the beginning of this year, they added Infosight for SIMPLIVITY. Back again, did you need to buy a new SIMPLIVITY, or did you need to do an update of software, or do we need AMPLIFIER pack or whatever something? No. New licenses? No. The minimum thing that you needed was OmniStack. By the way, OmniStack is the SIMPLIVITY name of the software. It's the legacy name. You need 378 or later. FYI, the latest version is already 4.0.1. Of course, you need to have an account with Infosight, and you need an active entitlement. You need a support contract, but that is by default when you buy SIMPLIVITY anyway. Okay, and at that moment, the only thing that you needed to do is in SIMPLIVITY, there's a tool which exists already a long time, which is called OmniWatch. And OmniWatch is finally the ET phone home functionality from SIMPLIVITY. So in every SIMPLIVITY cluster, there is OmniWatch, and it's sending data to the SIMPLIVITY team for years already. But now with 378, OmniWatch can be configured. You don't have to configure anything, you just have to enable it. That OmniWatch sends the information to the SIMPLIVITY team, but also to Infosight. And so at that moment, it's really easy to set up because you have to go just to SIMPLIVITY, the management, the federation dashboard, and in there you have monitoring the OmniWatch section. And there you have to register for Infosight. A 5-minute job. How to do it on my blog. Everything is documented on there. And there are guides as well available. When you go to infosight.hpe.com, you go to SIMPLIVITY section. There's also a getting started guide over there. So there you go. What you need to do, you go to the federation view, there is the OmniWatch section, and now with 378 and higher, you get this new section called Infosight registration. What you need to do, you have to go to infosight.hpe.com. At the right, under the cogwheel, tandwiel, there's an option called device enrollment. You go to device enrollment for SIMPLIVITY, because by the way, there is also an option for servers. It's the same thing for servers with Amplifier Pack. And so what you need to do, you have to claim a token. You click that green button, copy to clipboard because it's a really long token. You copy the token in here in OmniWatch. And then you click that button, register. That's it, guys. Infosight.hpe.com. Claim a token for SIMPLIVITY or for servers. Copy that token into this registration page. By the way, for Amplifier Pack, it's the same thing. You just have to copy that token in Amplifier Pack and then register. And that's it. From that moment on, SIMPLIVITY starts sending all the telemetry data from the SIMPLIVITY environment to Infosight. That's it. 5-minute job. How does it work? So inside SIMPLIVITY, there is that collection agent by default from OmniWatch that is collecting all the data. And it's, of course, by the way, if I get this question about security and so on, all the data, by the way, it's telemetry data. So there's no user data at all. Yeah. And all the data is encrypted. So it's all sent through SSL encrypted data to an address infosight.hpe.com. So even if your firewall guys are a little bit worried about security and so on, no problem. This is the IP address from the SIMPLIVITY and from the amplifier plaque and the Nimble, and they are sending that data on port 443 to infosight.hpe.com. Okay, and it's all encrypted, by the way. And so what do we get? Because as you can see here, it's also in multiple phases. We don't have all the visibility like a Nimble array and a tripar array today, because we're still collecting data we need to learn. But what you get a full visibility on the federation, on the cluster, on the hosts, and on the VMs. We have predictive analytics. Okay, so we don't have the recommendations yet, but we have the predictive analytics already. We have that top 10 VM resource utilization. Who is using, who is abusing your environment? Who are the noisy neighbors? This is information that you have already within SIMPLIVITY, but now you have it as well in the cloud. So you don't have to connect to that vCenter console with SIMPLIVITY again. Yeah, you can go there to deploy VMs, but for the daily operations, you can use Infosight, because there you get also the utilization of your environments. And you also have, just like with servers, a wellness dashboard. Yeah, so also there is already, by the way, automatic case creation. Okay, so for SIMPLIVITY exists. Why? Because OmniWatch had this functionality already. Now, how does it look like? Because like I said, you get a copy of the presentation anyway. So I added a lot of screenshots in here for your reference, to show it to your customers, to show it to your colleagues, to understand, to know which information you can expect in there. So like I said, you get a data center list, because now what you can see here is, so HPE Infosight, then you go to infrastructure, and there you have Nimble, Tripar, Primera, servers, SIMPLIVITY. You select SIMPLIVITY, and today we have a data center view. Now, most of our customers here in Belgium have one data center. Yeah, now here in this case, this is really a big environment with multiple data centers. And then you can drill down into the cluster view. Yeah, so this is really a VMware cluster, or one or more VMware clusters. You can see the logical space, you can see the physical space, and you can see this is always a nice number to give the efficiency. Yeah, there's a SIMPLIVITY efficiency, 12 to 1, 24 to 1, 5 to 1 in this case, and how many terabytes that the customer is saving. And so now you can see this from all your customers with SIMPLIVITY. Yeah, because by the way, it is multi-tenant. I will explain about that, how it works at the end of this presentation. Okay. The host view. So here again, I can see all my hosts. I can see the software that is running, in which cluster they are, the model. So there's an old OmniCube legacy. There's a SIMPLIVITY 380. Probably you know, if you attended the SIMPLIVITY webinar 2 weeks ago or even before, that we have today a portfolio with many nodes: 380, 380G, 380H, 325, and so on. All the models you can see here, which version that is running. Always good to see that it's update time, yes or no. I just published a few days ago, just before the weekend, an article about the update process of SIMPLIVITY and how easy it is. The VMware host version, if there's support, yes or no. And so you can drill down. There's always an option to download CSV files with even more information. And then when you click on it, even more information up to the VM level, up to the storage level, and so on and so on. Now, about the predictive analytics, one of the views that you can see already is about capacity trending. So it can see the utilization per cluster, local clusters, remote clusters. You can see the utilization of the storage, and then you can see who is using the most of the capacity, because then maybe with cross charging, you can say, yeah, but we need to order a new SIMPLIVITY node, and then you can say here perfectly, yeah, but you are using the most of the capacity of that cluster, so that means that you have to pay the most for it, of course. Yeah. So the storage efficiency, I think one of the most important things that is when you give a demo of SIMPLIVITY, it's about the storage efficiency, of course. Well, you can show it in here as well. So how many capacity are you winning because you copied your data on a SIMPLIVITY environment? Okay, and also predicting, so it will tell, well, if you keep on going like that, well, this is the actual usage in this pattern. Of course, it depends. It will take a look at the past to predict for the future. Okay, and also a really cool one is the VM resource utilization. So normally you have to go in vCenter, and then you have to go to the cluster level, and then the VM view, and then go to monitor, and then the performance, advanced monitoring, and then you can get this picture. Damn, that's complicated. Or at least it's not so complicated than going to Infosight directly, infosight.hp.com. And Mr. Customer, these are DVMs with how many data about the backups, because SIMPLIVITY, the second cool thing in SIMPLIVITY is, of course, the built-in data protection. So we have backups, we have local backups, we have remote backups on another cluster, the amount of backups, the amount of copies that we have locally and remotely, and then also the IOPS in reads and writes, and the picture goes even much further to the right. So you can see CPU utilization, memory utilization. You can see all this kind of cool information about the VMs that are using and abusing your environment. And it is also always a popular one to size and to IOPS. And there will be more as well. Top 10 views of also CPU and memory, they're all coming. One thing that I can say already is that Infosight doesn't have a specific version. So today we're not talking about Infosight 3.1 plus or B or something like that. No, it's just Infosight. Okay, and not every week, but every few weeks, every 2-3 weeks, there are new things in there. So every time when I log on, hey, there's a new screen, there's a new tab, this is a new functionality, huh? This wasn't there before. So it's always adding information in there. Yeah, more views, more dashboards, more tree maps that are available. Why? Yeah, because we keep on collecting data, of course, right? And that's why as well, Infosight, you don't have to update. This is also a cool thing. Yeah, vCenter, Veeam, all those other monitoring tools, all those agents you have to update. Infosight, you don't have to update, right? That's the cool thing about it. It's so easy to use. One last thing about SIMPLIVITY, the OmniWatch integration. The capabilities, like I said, you can, because OmniWatch could do with this already, is that proactively it will create a support case if it sees that, for instance, a hard disk is broken, there's a power supply broken, the temperature has exceeded, the disk is not broken yet, but there are predictive failures, yeah, on the slot level, for instance. So there you go. Also, when you replace the disk and it starts rebuilding and it finishes rebuilding, Infosight will give you all these alerts as well. Okay, the next one is Nimble storage. It all started with Nimble. Okay, Infosight with Nimble, it's a slide deck of 200 slides itself. It's so extended, it goes that far. Now I'm not going to show you all these slides, of course, just the most important ones. Yeah, because here we get a lot of recommendations already, because we're beyond the prediction. Yeah, if there's an issue, probably we have seen that issue already from one of those thousands of Nimbles out there already. And so we don't have to reinvent the wheel again. No, because we have seen this issue and we can give you automatically in advance already that there will be a problem, yes or no, at one moment in time. So a Nimble, if you want to know everything about Nimble, I organized a few weeks ago, and I will organize back in the future again a storage update session. So keep on coming back for my storage update session about all the new stuff about, for instance, Nimble. But the Nimble array, it's for you high all flash environment or a hybrid flash environment with 2 controllers, with the 6 nines availability, blah, 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 too many things to talk about. But at one moment in time, a controller went down unexpectedly. We don't know why. The controller rebooted. Now, watch out. Is that a problem? Now, with the traditional storage array, maybe yes, maybe no, but most of the storage arrays like an MSA and a Tripar and a Primera and all those other EMC, whatever, something storage devices, they have 2 controllers active. If one controller goes down, yeah, that workload goes to the other one. Now, if this was 20 and 20%, well, the other one, the surviving controller, can run 40%. So that's not an issue. But if both controllers are running at 60% and this one goes down, then the surviving controller needs to run 120% of workload. So there's always a performance impact. By the way, even at 20 and 20%, so even if it's 40%, even then there's a performance impact. Why? Because the write cache gets disabled. Watch out in the traditional array, not in the Nimble array. Because Nimble is the same, but it's completely different. It has 2 controllers, but there's one active and there's another one standby. And if one goes dead, if the active one goes down, there's no problem, because this one is synced all the time, and the other controller takes over all the workload without any downtime, with any performance impact. Yeah, for the host. Yeah, because we have an intelligent connection manager with MPIO. Yeah, so at that moment in time, so there was a Nimble array out there, and we saw that that controller rebooted, and we don't know why. Now, first of all, there was no impact because of the built-in redundancy and the no single point of failure in the Nimble design. Now, the diagnostics, that alert was seen by Infosight with the proactive analysis, and they found a bug in a specific version from Nimble OS. The Nimble engineers, they created that fix and pushed it out within 24 hours. And now you could say, like all the other companies out there, hey, we have an update and everyone needs to install it. That's a little bit stupid. That's a little bit ridiculous, because not everyone was running that specific version with a bug. No, Infosight gave an alert, a recommendation only to 40 arrays, and not all those thousands, even today, more than 10,000 Nimble arrays already out there. No, just 40 customers who were running a code version that had that bug. They got automatically an update alert to say, please update your nimble array. By the way, you can do this during the business hours because there is no performance impact, there is no downtime. Anyway, yeah, this was done all automatically. Yeah, so we did it. There was a case created, but at the end it was automatically closed as well. Yeah. Some other experiences. This happened, when was it? I think last year ago, maybe I think it was last year ago somewhere. IP addresses. We don't have enough IP version 4 addresses, and that's why we need to go to IP version 6. And I think that all of you guys probably you are already running IPv6, right? No, we're still running on IPv4. Now there are, by the way, public IP addresses, yeah, that are used as private IP addresses and vice versa. But we found out somewhere, I think it's a little bit more than 1 year ago, not important at all. Yeah, it is important, but there was a subset, a subnet of IP addresses that became public. And so that's a potential issue because those IP addresses are a threat for cyber attacks, denial of service, and data theft, and so on. Automatically, what Infosight did was automatically there was an alert sent out to say to 1,000 customers who were using these public IP addresses to say, watch out, guys. You're using this subnet of IP addresses, which are used now today as a public IP address. So please change them. Okay? This has nothing to do with even a performance impact. This has nothing to do with stability. This is about security. Yeah. And even there, Infosight send an alert automatically to those 1,000 customers to say, we see somewhere through the cross-stack analytics that you use these IP addresses, and they are a potential threat. Okay. Another unfortunately popular cause is all pods down, APD. Yeah, so also VMware is now generating these kind of events. So with iSCSI or with Fiber Channel, we have 4 pods, and one goes down, and the second goes down, and the third goes down, and then they come back online, and then the fourth one goes offline. But if you have a badly configured MPIO environment, okay, the pods come online again, but they're not active anymore. They're online, but there's no data on it. And if that fourth cable goes down, at that moment, we have an APD alert, an all pods down alert, due to a host problem. There are known issues with popular hypervisors, but also with firmwares of network cards. Yeah. Now, if there's an APD, if there's a pods down, at that moment, yeah, we lose communication to the array, of course. Now, in this specific case, there was a known issue with the VIC card. And no, I'm not going to make publicity for one of our competitors, but yeah, just Google it and you will see that there's a company that is really popular in the networking environment and that wants to make more money out of servers. So today they are building servers as well. And so they have those so-called VIC cards. And at one moment in time, yeah, they're a networking company for network switches, but they had issues with the firmware in that VIC card, yeah, causing all pods down alerts because the port disconnected, it came online again, but the software behind it was not able to activate that pod again. Well, there were 87 nimble customers running those C whatever something servers, and so we send them Infosight, send an alert to those 87 customers saying that, guys, watch out with that VIC card in your C server because we have known issues. We have seen issues elsewhere, and the problem is not us. The problem is their firmware, so please update it because otherwise you can have an APD and all pods down. And then you're going to blame the storage because we cannot access the storage anymore. But the problem is not the storage, the problem is the network. Yeah. Well, how does it work? Well, it's all about the intelligence. It's working with blacklisting and whitelisting. And so with all these releases now today, we are already much higher, but also this is Nimble OS 3.1, 3.2, 3.7. Today we are much higher already in version 5.x already. But even then, um, Infosight and Nimble, we know what is supported, yes or no. Yeah, because we can see which servers are connected. And if you have servers connected with VMware 6.5, just an example, and we know that 3220 has a problem with VMware 6.5, well, at that moment, you cannot even download it. We only give you the possibility to download versions that we, HPE support, Nimble support tells you that is supported by HPE and by Nimble on your array. So it is perfectly possible that if you have two customers with Nimble arrays, that for one customer, 3220 is supported, but for the other customer, 3220 is not supported. Why? Maybe one customer is running VMware and the other one is running Linux or Windows or another version, right? So that's all done automatically, right? There's no engineers. By the way, behind Infosight, there are only data scientists. There are no engineers at the end. Yeah, there are only best practices engineers pumping best practices inside Infosight to make it even more intelligent, but that's it, guys, okay? And so this is an example of an AI performance recommendation, okay? What do we see here? Okay, if you take a good look, and this is, by the way, on a Nimble array. So the storage system is experiencing elevated random reads and writes and sequential latency. So there is a performance impact between that and that period. And so now Infosight automatically gives you a first priority and a second priority. So the diagnosis is that as the CPU saturation is there on the controller. And so there are some recommendations. We can consider setting quality of service limits on the high CPU volume, so on volume level. We can upgrade, for instance, that Nimble from a certain model to a higher model, because the Nimble portfolio, if we go from a 20 to a 40 to a 60 to an 80, the only difference between those controller models is that there is a bigger CPU in there. And the bigger CPU gives you more IOPS, better performance, right? So now in this case, Infosight is telling you already, you got to do this or that or that. Yeah. And by the way, you got to do this maybe on volume level. So it could be good to know which volume is causing this issue. Well, there you go. Here are my volumes. And it's this volume, VMware NMBL01, that is using most of the CPU usage. But it's that volume that is impact the performance of those other volumes in there. Okay? Guys, the information is there. You don't have to do anything. Yeah? Just read it and act. Okay? And therefore as well, support experience. Yeah? This is why HPE wanted Nimble. Believe me, it's for Infosight. Because before HPE acquired Nimble, support experience from Nimble got the highest grades. Every time that there was a survey, everyone, all those analysts are talking about the support experience from Nimble. To give you an idea, normally when you call support, you get level 1 with those 50 questions. And then if you're lucky, you get escalated to level 2, and then they contact you to ask, hey, Bart, are you sure about your 50 answers? Because honestly, I don't believe you. So please send me log files so I can analyze those log files to see that your answers are correct. So you send all those log files and then you get escalated to level 3. This is a typical support experience, not only with HPE or all those other IT companies out there. If you just call your telco company here in Belgium, you get the same experience. Yeah. With Nimble, no level 1 engineers, 0. Also 0 level 2 engineers. So there are no escalations. If you call Nimble support, you get directly a level 3 engineer. And he's not going to ask you about those 50 questions. He knows who you are, he knows your Nimble array, and he knows already the problem, because most of the time, these are existing Nimble customers that confirm that most of the time it's Nimble support that calls them before they know that there is an issue. Yeah, we'll call you before you have the time to call them. And when they call you, most of the time they know already root cause and they know what to do on storage level, on network level, on server level, on hypervisor level, on VM level. Okay, because we have those cross-stack analytics. Quick look, like I said, this is why I love Infosight and why I organize this webinar. I keep on repeating that Infosight message. Even if it's a free product, you can make money out of it. Money? How? Happy customers. You give them a better support experience. Okay? Why? Because it's easier to get access to support. 93% of the cases are opened automatically, but 86% of them are closed automatically as well. Yeah. Customer satisfaction. There's a company in the US really popular in doing surveys for customer satisfaction. Nimble got 491 out of 5. To give you an idea, you have that fruit company. Yeah, you know that fruit company that has also a loyal public. Yeah, once that you buy a smartphone from Apple, everyone keeps on buying Apple. I don't know why, but it's like that. Yeah. To give you an idea, everyone is happy about Apple. Well, Apple has somewhere around 4.55 or something like that on a scale of 5 of customer satisfaction. So Nimble is higher as most of those other companies. There you go. 85 NPS customer loyalty. Most of the Nimble customers, when they buy a Nimble, they will buy a Nimble back again because they're really loyal. So keep on starting selling Nimble, of course. You want to know more about Nimble? Well, come back to my storage update session that I will organize soon. Okay. And an important one, 6 nines availability. To give you an idea, 6 nines availability, that is 31 seconds per year. Yeah, and the number is going up because the last numbers that I saw, the 5th number behind was already 4, and that number is still going up. Okay, good. So enough about Nimble. Why is Nimble so good? Because of Infosight. We already have 9 years Infosight on those Nimbles, and we know everything about those boxes, right? And so this is why you get started with Infosight, because it will make your life better and it will make the life better and the experience better of your customers. Okay, good. We're almost through the last section. Practical section is about Primera and Tripar. So that's beyond Nimble. So that's really already mid-range and higher end storage devices, but also there again, to give you an idea, because we have plenty of Tripars installed here in Belgium as well, plenty of happy customers, right? The only thing that they needed to do is, if you have a Tripar and you want Infosight, well, we're not going to connect your Tripar to the internet, of course, for Infosight. No, what did we do? Every Tripar has a thing called a service processor. And so the only thing that we needed to do is update that service processor to a specific version, if I remember well, 503 or something like that. You can find the information on infosight.hpe.com. And by the way, on my blog as well, because the article is there as well. But when you updated that service processor, by the way, all online, no performance impact while he is sending all that data to Infosight. Today, that number is already going up, more than 2,000 Tripars sending back telemetry information, 34,000 hosts connected to those 2,300 Tripars, 70,000 data stores presented to those hosts, and almost today it will be more than already 600K of virtual machines where we have telemetry data. Back again, we cannot see user data, how many users, which applications. We only can see the hypervisor, the VM, and the operating system on top of it with the IP address. Why? If we're going to give recommendations, of course, we need to tell you it's that VM. That's the name and the IP address. That's the only thing that we can see up to the VM level. Yeah. But take a look at that. And it keeps on growing, right? Every month they're adding more and more tripars, sending that telemetry data from your VMware, because by the way, the only thing that it's doing, that service processor makes a connection to vCenter. And it's all APIs, it's performance APIs that it's sending to your vCenter. So we don't need access to your Active Directory and so on, just we need an account on vCenter to get your performance API calls there. And that is sent to Infosight. And at that moment, you get a better experience. You get screenshots in a minute. But look at that. 85% of the tripar cases are automatically closed because we're giving recommendations based on the information that we have from Infosight. A few thousands proactive interventions, and this is an important one. More than 5,000 support cases avoided every month. So since that we enabled tripar, the tripar support team had less work to do. Yeah, less work to do. That's also good for you because you have a happy customer because the tripar is running better. Yeah. How does it look like? It is visually, it's a little bit different, but you go to infosight.hpe.com, you go to infrastructure. Now you don't select SIMPLIVITY, you don't select Reliant, you don't select Nimble, you select tripar. And then you get a list of all your tripars, if you have customers with multiple tripars, of course. And then you get the system status with the power supplies and the cooling and the fans and the firmware installed on it, and so on and so on. And then you start on clicking. And then when navigating through those screens, well, there you go. This is my system with the serial number, with the version running on it, with the capacity, with the deduplication, the deco on it, the system health. There are 2 support issues escalated. There are no best practices that are violated. There is a specific version that is running. Maybe there is an update. Now, by the way, this is Tripar and Primera. Okay, because their interface, it looks the same. I'm not allowed to say that Primera one day will be replacing Tripar. I didn't say that, but it looks the same and it is the same actually, right? From a point of view of Infosight. Okay. And so, like I said, there you go. The telemetry, in the past, it was every few hours. And now they added recently as well, it's called something called streaming telemetry. So it's just always a few seconds or a few minutes. Yeah. So that tripar or that Primera is permanently sending that heartbeat information to tell you we're doing a good thing. We're going good. We're going good. We're going good. There's something bad. Yeah, you will get instantly those alerts. Why, Mr. Customer? Faster anomaly detection. This is why Primera, for instance, guarantees 100% of uptime. Watch out, there's a little asterisk. If that customer with Primera wants 100% uptime guaranteed, he needs to enable Infosight. Okay, because at that moment, HPE support can perfectly see how good or how bad it goes with that Primera array, of course. Other views, look at that. Oh yeah, you want to do troubleshooting on performance? Well, now in high resolution, up to the second, you can drill down here to see, guys, what's going on? That spike, why is it red? Which VM, which data store, which host is causing that spike? And so on and so on. You're always protected, all because the information is just there. By the way, with tripar, Infosight is an option. With Primera, we suggest to always enable it, of course. Yeah, because it's a better user experience because of the AI, thanks to the AI and the machine learning that is built in. To give you an idea, this is a picture of the registration of Primera. So when you deploy Primera, it's this easy again as well. You go to Infosight registration, yeah, and then you have to connect. You have to give your passport ID, which is the account that you're using to connect to infosight.hpe.com, which is, by the way, the same account that you're using to connect to the partner portal. And then you click register, and then you can add one or multiple contacts for the alerts. That's it. And then automatically it will update the Primera OS, because he knows as well, once connected to Infosight, he knows that you're running maybe an outdated version or a not supported version, or you can update directly the operating system as well. It goes that far that the AI and the analytics, the machine learning that is running in Infosight, which we call near real-time experience, well, now there is a new version of the SSMC, which is, by the way, the management console of Tripar and also from Primera, that we have real-time analytics in SSMC, but also on the array. So the latest update, this was announced, when was it? Last week? Yes, last week. It was announced. By the way, all the storage announcements of last week, there were plenty of them. You can find a blog article as well on my blog, bitcoin.be, and on all the social media, of course. But one of the announcements was that also on Primera, we're not going to put only Infosight AI, but they're going to embed AI on the array itself. Okay, so at that moment, it's like a self-driving car. Can you imagine a self-driving car? The array can see the workload, and if it sees that there is too much workload over there and not so much workload over there, that it can act dynamically, directly, and move the workload from one controller to another controller, for instance. Online, we're going to avoid that there will be a performance problem, and then a support case need to be created. And then you get called to say that there is a performance problem. No, we're going to avoid that there is a performance problem. Yeah. So we're going to put AI, we're going to put Waze and Google Maps and all that intelligence, we're going to put it inside the array itself so that it can decide for itself how good or how bad it goes on storage level. That's really cool, guys. Yeah. So all this is added in SSMC as well. So the storage serve management console. So this is how it looks like. So it's checking your array permanently every minute. So we don't have to wait for days or weeks or even months. No, it's checking that saturation. And then based on that information, it will predict that it will go up and that it will go down. Yeah. I told the HPE already, I want this algorithm for the stock market. So I know that when I need to buy auction actions, yes or no. Performance insights built in Tripar. So yes, even existing customers with existing Tripars, with SSMC 3.4 or with Primera, you get all these performance insights in there. So you will get an answer, which volume is impacted, what caused the impact, and which host is impacted. Yeah, so you get that complete view in there. And back again, you get here those tree maps, those map views, where you can see as well the top 5 volumes causing or being impacted by latency, the hotspots per volume. Where are we? Where is it going? Is it going up? Is it down? So you get all this information automatically on a Tripar array. By the way, a Tripar array that exists already for more than 10 years. And these arrays, you just have to do a software upgrade with SSMC and with Infosight connectivity. You get all this kind of experience. Okay. And like I said, there is that full stack analytics. Why? Because with SSMC, and we have Infosight, SSMC sending all that information over there together with the service processor. But we have connectivity. Technically seen, it's this guy that has connectivity with vCenter to talk with your VMware host. And so we go up to technically the VM and the container level. We can have a full drill down of that view. Okay. There you go. So this is an example of a picture. So what you see, guys, this is not VMware. This is the Tripar management console. Yeah. And normally you should expect here data stores. No, you can see VMs. So inside your storage array, you can see the virtual machines. And so you can see them running on a specific host with utilization of that host. And that VM is sitting with VMDK files on a data store, on an array, and so on and so on. And so you have a full view, which VM on which data store on which host, causing an impact on the performance of that array or that host or that network or that data store. Yeah, all the information that you need is just one click away. Okay, because at the end you can completely drill down up to the tripar, and you can see here that tripar, then is it congested, yes or no? Okay, there you go. Guys, we're almost through. Yeah. Um, two little things. So we're perfectly on time as well. First of all, Infosight. Why? Intelligence. How do we do it? With servers, SIMPLIVITY, Nimble, Tripar, and Primera. Okay? Now, what's next? What's in it for me? What do you need to do? Well, for me, at least as important as the technical side is what we're gonna do now, because of course I want to help you to get started with Infosight. By the way, there is also an advantage for you, the HPE partners. Okay, I can confirm myself, this is not marketing. I close deals thanks to Infosight. Why? Because our competitors don't have it. Yeah. Hold on, Bart. Yeah, that C company and that D company and that that orange storage company over there. Yeah, they say that they have AI. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the last year, I know that our competitors are starting with AI, but I just told you it's all about the intelligence. Mr. D and C and P company. Um, How much information do you have? Where do you collect information? Well, we keep thousands, millions of data points on our storage. That's too bad. We do it on servers and storage and networking and the hypervisor and the VM. So we have more data points. Remember one of the first slides, we have trillions of data points. Yeah, we already have best practices and all the good things, but definitely all the bad things that you were doing already with firmware updates, not in the right order, with hypervisor updates and not doing the firmware updates and all these kind of things. All the bad things that you were doing in the past, we learned from it. And we're giving you already advice on this. Okay? So we are smarter. I challenge them. Show me your artificial intelligence, your predictive analytics. Show me your recommendations, because I can give you instantly a demo about Infosight showing you the recommendations. I have one practical example today here in Belgium where a partner that I support that called me, hey Bart, we just sold 4 servers, SIMPLIVITY over there, and we have an issue and we don't know where to get started, and we are still with level 2 and they don't call back because they're analyzing log files. Yeah. Okay. Do you have Infosight? Yes. Okay, add my account to Infosight, because it's that easy to go to the settings, that cogwheel at the top right. They added my email address. And so in my Infosight portal, I see their environment with 4 servers. And I kept on checking and checking this and that and all these parameters and so on, because I had cross-stack analytics, because SIMPLIVITY is running on there. Yeah. And so I helped them. I gave them advice. Yeah, to help the troubleshooting. I didn't find the error because the error was way higher beyond the HPE solution in the hypervisor, but I helped them to act faster. And I close deals, believe me. I show Infosight, and then they say, I want this. Yeah. Okay, I'll sell it to you. By the way, I cannot sell Infosight because at Tech Data, we don't have anything in stock. There are no SKUs. It's for free. The only thing that you need to do is buy HPE. You got to buy an HPE ProLiant server with or without SIMPLIVITY, hyper-converged on it, or you got to buy a Nimble or a Tripar or a Primera or an Apollo, as long as they're ILO in there. Yeah, so you can win deals with Infosight. Show Infosight, and at the end, I will tell you, yes, you can connect to infosight.hpe.com, and in the beginning, it's empty. It's completely empty. You can request access to a demo environment. Okay, if you don't know how to do it, call me, send me an email, I will show you. You just have to send an email to you go to resources, Infosight support, and then you say, hey guys, I want to give demos. I want access to a demo portal. Then you get a demo environment with a few nimbles and a few servers in there with cross-stack analytics. You can give the demos. And then you win deals. If you don't know how to do it, call me. I will help you to close those deals, to win those deals. By the way, you can sell more thanks to Infosight because we have a better view on what's really running there. Yeah. And definitely you can close the deal much faster. Why? Back again, because we can see much more and we can predict already in advance, Mr. Customer, this is what you really need. Okay, so challenge them, all the others, about the AI-driven operations with the cross-stack analytics, with the forecasting, with the complete visibility. And by the way, there is a sizing tool as well in there. Okay, so in infosight.hp.com, there are sizing tools for your future uh, upcoming storage environment. Yeah. And so, like I said, this is Infosight, by the way. And up to now, um, I know it wasn't ideal. That's why there is a solution, and I'm proud to share it with you. Until now, you had to create multiple organizations. So if you had 10 customers with all a nimble array, then you had to create here 10 organizations. And then you got all the information, which is good, but you had to change from organization. Feedback to HPE. I want one reseller dashboard. Well, I think it was 3 months ago, somewhere in February, Infosight added the reseller dashboard. Bang, it was one day, it was there. You don't have to do an update, it's there. And at that moment, when you, HPE partner, when you sold more than one nimble array to more than one customer, at that moment, you can have access to that reseller dashboard, and then you get all those nimble arrays in a list. Bang, there you go. One picture, all the nimble arrays from all your customers, with all the models, with the consumption, with the firmwares, with the support, with the hardware and the software. Hey, which one is up to date? Which one is out of date? Which one is out of warranty? Which one is out of the care pack support? And so on and so on. Just go in there. It helps you selling. You can see here that that array is running at 90% of the performance. He will tell you, maybe you should upgrade the controller from a 20 to a 40. Yeah. By the way, you as a sales guy, you call that customer. Yeah, I know. Infosight told me that I need to upgrade. Here's the voucher. Just sign it. Here's the order. Yeah, there you go. Other features, upgrade recommendations. Now you can call your customer to say, Mr. Customer, did you know that you're nimble? You need to update it. There are best practices that are not okay anymore, and there are newer versions. You can do it yourself. Oh, you don't feel too confident? No problem. We can do it for you. Yeah, there you go. Infosight is helping you to sell, right? Also transfer assets from those organizations at the top. There's an option now to move. Maybe you just acquired a new customer with a nimble array, but the nimble array was sold by your competitor. No problem. It's possible now to transfer assets from one company, from one customer to another customer. Okay, so there are all procedures back again in Infosight to create those organizations. So to become a multi-tenant environment. Okay, so all this is possible for you as well. There is really added value, not only for the customers, but as well for you to make your life easier. Now, last section, we're almost there. What's next? Because like I said, Infosight, it's not the end. They keep on going. And an important thing, this was announced last week as well. I know that most of you are running VMware, and we have VMware Cross-Stack Analytics. Fantastic tool. But I know that there are companies out there with Hyper-V. Yeah, it's like that. Well, I can tell you from now on, since last week it was announced, yes, we also have a collector, an agent that you're going to install. that is available so that you can have a full stack analytics as well. So with the analytics on memory, on the host CPU, performance, capacity management, that top 10 performing VMs and so on, the noisy neighbor solution, everything is in there for your Hyper-V customers as well. Okay, so what do we have? Technically, it works with a collector agent. Okay, so we're not, because for VMware, we need vCenter. Now, a long time, I expected that you need System Center. VMM for Hyper-V. No, it's not the case because it costs money. We don't want that. It's got to be lightweight. System Center is not lightweight. So that's why you will get now the ability to download an Infosight collector agent that you're going to run somewhere in your Windows environment, and he will collect all that information just like the amplifier pack is doing for servers, and then he will connect with the Nimble array, and the Nimble array will effectively send all the information to HPE Infosight in the cloud, of course. Okay, it's not only a push, it's also a pull. Yeah, so it's a bidirectional for the statistics and for the configuration that is being sent as well to Infosight. Okay, and it's all, by the way, back again, it's telemetry data. Okay, yeah, coming soon. It's a matter of days that you can download that collector agent. And this is the slide that I use when we're gonna talk about competition. I'm not saying that Dell and Cisco and Pure are doing a bad thing. Not at all. They're not good. We're better. Why? Because, Mr. Customer, we are more intelligent. We're not only monitoring, there are two vendors that say, yeah, we have AI, but they're still in the monitoring phase. The other vendor is starting with predicting. We are giving recommendations already, and with a few things with Primera, and plenty of things are coming, this is when we're gonna act. Yeah, this is the self-driving car. Believe me, not everyone is ready for the self-driving car experience. Yeah, Infosight is intelligent enough to act as well. With the embedded AI in Primera, Primera will do some things already here. We're doing it. Challenge those other customers. By the way, about visibility, the other vendors, they have AI. Yeah, they say that they have AI on storage level. Guys, very good. We have it as well on compute level. We have a view up to the VM, and we can see your applications. At least we can see the application workloads. We don't see the application data, but we can see that it's VDI. We can see that it's a database. We can see that it's SAP HANA, for instance, yeah, or big data. We can see the workloads. We do it today on multiple environments. The other vendors challenge them. Okay, they're good. We're much better with Infosight. By the way, the other vendors, if you want full analytics, you want full stack, you got to pay for it. Did I mention already that Infosight is for free? Right? There you go. So that AI, that experience of self-driving cars and the self-driving planes and drones, and we have plenty of cool videos about those robots who are playing, who are gambling and are winning from real life people playing poker and so on. It's all about that final mile, the machine learning, the artificial intelligence, the algorithms behind it. We have more experience. That's the whole idea. We have more experience, we know more. Why is that? Hey, I mentioned this, Primera embedded AI. Well, Primera is there now for 1.5 years. We have plenty of customers already with Primera. Well, all those customers with Primera, we are learning. And within a year, we're starting predicting already. And thanks to embedded AI, there are for a few things already, we can already, in an intelligent and dynamic way, we can act already to optimize the resource utilization. Yeah, so we have 2 or 4 controllers. We can prioritize those controller resources for your workload in a proactive way. It's available today. All the customers with Primera today, they just have to do a firmware, a software update, and they do it. Why? Because we have the global learning from all the Primeras out there. We have the real-time data with the embedded AI. And there are, by the way, 2 mechanisms. Okay, there's the LSTM learning model, there's the neural network learning, and those two will give those predictive analytics. And thanks to the predictive analytics, the box can act as well today. Okay, so it's self-healing, it's self-optimizing, and like I said, workload shaping, it's a matter of time that it will be available later this year as well. Okay, good guys. Um, almost there. I want to warn you, we are beyond the prediction level. We are recommending, and we are almost ready for the autonomous data center. Be aware, guys, this is the self-driving car happening in your data center. Okay, the only thing that you need to do is sell, sell, sell more servers, storage, hyper-converged, composable, whatever, because once that is running, it keeps on running. Okay, good. Um, this is the end finally. I always get the, because we're gonna do, I still have some time for a little Q&A for you guys. Thank you for your patience. But I always get these questions. Yeah, get started. What do I need? Well, that's why I added these last slides in here. Okay, customer requirements. What do you need? Well, for Nimble, you don't need anything. You just need a support contract. Okay, and if you want the cross-stack analytics, you need VMware 5, which is end of life already, or higher. Okay, and we need port 443, we need some kind of way through a proxy, we need internet connectivity to send the data to Infosight. For TRIPAR, we need the service processor, like I told you, version 5.0. something, MU3, with TRIPAR OS 3.2.2, which is already really old as well. And also you need at least a minimum support contract. For Primera, you just need a support contract. And you need VMware 5.5, which is already older already as well, or later for the cross-stack analytics. For Nimble, DHCI, just like with Nimble, you don't need anything. You just need Nimble OS 5.1.2. But anyway, for DHCI, you need 5.1.2. That's the minimum. ILO amplifier pack is not needed. While there are DL380s in a DHCI stack, we don't need ILO amplifier pack at this moment because now the ILO information is captured by the Nimble array, and it's the Nimble array that will send the information to Infosight. For SIMPLIVITY, I just told you, you need 378 and you need Infosight enabled. Remember OmniWatch, but OmniWatch is enabled by default when you install a SIMPLIVITY. So you just have to register and import that token. It's a 5-minute job. Okay. And then for servers, well, I told you as well, the most important is that you need the amplifier pack with a server with ILO 4 and ILO 5. So that's Gen 8, Gen 9, Gen 10. And preferably a foundation care support pack. You always need a support contract, of course, but it's not even required to have Infosight working. Okay, guys? There you go. Thanks a lot for your patience, for your time, for your interest in Infosight. More information, Seismic. hpe.seismic.com is the portal where you can find all the videos, all the white papers, all the presentations, all the documents, all the user guides, everything is on there. You go through the partner portal, you go to your work tools, pre-sales and sales tools, Seismic and PS Now. Yeah, those are the two repositories with all the presentations. techpro.com for all the certified people, online training, 1-hour tech talks, webinars, all the information can be found there as well. Of course, techdataevents.be, keep on checking there because we keep on continuing organizing these kind of seminars and webinars. I hope one day that we can organize physical events again, but today it will be webinar. And of course, on my blog, bitcon.be, there you find a lot of information as well. Okay, guys, thank you very much for being here. I'll stay here online a little bit longer to answer all your questions in the Q&A and the chat. Thank you for being here. We'll send you a copy of the presentation and the recording. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.